The honourable member for Halifax-Chebucto.
Madam Speaker, my question is for the minister responsible for residential tenancies, who I think should hear this tweet this week from Adsum for Women and Children. So far today, we've had anxious calls from 7 families with a total of 17 children who are facing eviction or the end of a fixed-term lease on Thursday. It's very disheartening, makes you want to throw up every time you say no. Madam Speaker, by refusing to curtail the abuse of fixed-term leases and by allowing new tenancies to be exempt from the rent cap, the government is in fact incentivizing landlords to evict these 7 families and thousands like them. Does the minister not see that the pain of all these families is directly caused by the government's incentivizing of eviction?
The Honourable Minister for Service, Nova Scotia.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. And of course, any time a tenant is faced with an eviction or the end of their lease, it certainly causes some stress for them. And you know, as a government, that's why we are taking steps to build upon the true solution to our housing crisis, and that's more housing, Madam Speaker. Under the leadership of the Minister of Housing, you know, we're making significant and unprecedented investments in housing. Certainly appreciate the feedback from the members opposite. We're always looking at the residential tenancy program of how to, again, balance the rights and responsibilities of tenants and landlords. We've heard, you know, pertaining to the rent cap, that we needed to make some changes, and that's why we did that last year, to protect tenants, but also to give a little bit more buffer for the smaller landlords as well.
I recognize the honourable member for Halifax-Chebucto.
Oh my, Madam Speaker, we used to talk about fixed-term leases not very long ago as a loophole around the rent cap, but they're not a loophole anymore. They're a broad open barn door which the government is holding wide open for landlords to go get new tenants who they can then charge above the rent cap. We've got a 5% rent cap, but rents that actually went up last year by 12%. Does the minister not see? Certainly there's no reflection of an understanding of seeing this in his earlier response. Does the minister not understand that as long as the government does nothing to curtail fixed-term leases, all we've got is a no-cap rent cap here in Nova Scotia?
I recognize the Honourable Minister for Service, Nova Scotia.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. And I'll go back in time to spring of 2023 when we brought amendments to the Rent Cap Act. Again, we recognize that we need to balance the rights and responsibilities of tenants and landlords, and I know the NDP don't want to hear the message of balance. But again, Madam Speaker, we recognize that we need to protect tenants during this time as we invest in housing. We know the solution to the housing crisis.
Order. Order. The Minister for Service, Nova Scotia has the floor.
Madam Speaker, we know that the true solution to the housing crisis is more housing, but we've also heard from the smaller landlords that the 2% rent cap wasn't enough and that we had to make that change. So that's why we've acted. Madam Speaker, I hate to hear the members opposite paint all landlords with one brush and all tenants with one brush. Madam Speaker, again, we're looking to balance both.
I recognize the honourable member for Sydney, member 2.